The bizarre and random testing with Silas continues, so let's go for a really weird one today. The spam strategy that I'm going to be working with is going to be the ice shards, which sounds pretty odd. These are very common in races, they're very powerful in races, but you've never seen them in Chimps mode, I bet. I actually tried it once before in Chimps mode, and it was very bad, so I obviously just scrapped it. But with Silas, maybe it's good, so let's check it out. Again, I'm going to be going on Flooded. This really is the only good expert map for Silas, I want to say. Like, you definitely can use Silas on other maps, but you aren't going to be able to pull off something as crazy as if you were doing it on Flooded Valley. So I feel like it's kind of repetitive, but I feel like this should be the second to last video. I have one more video coming out after this, which is like the absolute crazy run. That's like the best Silas strategy that I'm pretty sure is there, period. So that's going to be the last testing Silas on Flooded. Silas is also really good on Ouch, but you obviously can pull off a lot more cash spare on Flooded. So that's kind of why I'm doing this, and it's a little bit repetitive, I know, but it will be over soon. I'm just going to be starting again off here with a reactor. I'm playing it a little more greedy. I was able to skip that top sub by going for this ice, and then I can kind of fly straight into an ice shards, which is pretty cool. You can't really do that with the other ones. The ice shards actually does have some prowess in the early game, and it can do some cool stuff. It will get a little bit weaker late game, but we'll still see how it fares compared to the other strategies. Now the thing about ice shards is that it has extremely high pierce, which should be really good for around like 98, for example, and this is why it's so common in races. The one big thing about it compared to like going for icicles on the contrary is that it needs something to trigger ice shards. It doesn't just start spamming out ice shards everywhere, just a lot of balloons have to come out, so like ceramics for example, and then the ice shards will explode and do a whole lot of damage, especially if there's a bunch of them. And with Silas's buffs, it should work out pretty well. The thing about that is that it has no single target damage, so round 100 will be an issue. Fortunately, not two first strikes, 2 spike storms is all you need to be able to take out round 100. That will just take up the entirety of 100, which is really, really nice. Plus, it will help against round 95, which is another big weak round of Silas. So the 2 spike storms just complement Silas very, very well on this map. They're extremely strong on Flooded Valley, so I feel like I can use that to kind of get away with all of the weaknesses that Psy and the Ice Shards will present. Plus, it might allow me to open up some balloons to use the Ice Shards properly. On top of that, I have the usual Absolute Zero, which slows down the balloons a lot. It's very, very powerful with Silas particularly, and then it's also going to just be catching a whole bunch of the ceramics, slow them down with Aura. And then another thing that it's going to be do is, of course, it's going to be buffing the Ice Monkeys. It actually got this buff a very long time ago, but there's really no practical use for it. A 50% attack speed increase when the Absolute Zero is active, but now that's an amazing buff. You can really go crazy with a whole lot of icicles or ice shards if this will work out pretty well, which will be fun. So I'm just going to continue on moving along. Things are going by a little bit slowly, I'm going to be honest, so it's not really looking too good at this point, but it can change around. That's at least what my hope is, especially when I have a whole lot more balloons coming, like on round 98. It will give a lot more benefit to the ice shards, and if there's a whole bunch of them, it could do something pretty good. Now, going into rounds like 95 and 94, I saw that there were definitely weak points, and I was actually missing out on kind of a lot of damage, particularly getting things open starting off, which was obviously a big issue with the ice shards. You need to crack open a lot of the balloons before the ice shards can be doing damage, so I ended up getting 1 icicles here to really help out with that. There's also the orbiting ice things that go around from Silas's buff that quite isn't really doing as much damage as I thought it would, so that's a little bit unfortunate. So I've just got that 1 icicles, and it's going to be helping out a lot actually. The icicles are really, really powerful, so if this can continue working, I'll be able to win with a pretty good amount of cash spare. It's going to be really high just because this combination in general is completely cracked on this map, but I'm going to be comparing it to the run that I did after this, which used just the icicles, to see how good that is. And as a bit of a spoiler alert, we're running off onto 98 here. It didn't go very well because I ended up having to get yet another icicles. I tried a lot on round 98 to beat it without, but I just ended up having to do that. So another icicles there on 98. And now if you see what's going on, the run that I'm doing tomorrow is going to be absolutely crazy, and we do it with just icicles. So basically this run is like half of that already, and that one gets a lot more cash spare. So in general, with 3 icicles, that's really all you need. All of those embrittlements, well, just the 1 embrittlement, and all the ice shards basically have the equivalent strength of 1 icicle. So this run is being completely carried in the late game by these 2 icicles. Well, 1 up to this point and then 2 for round 98. It really didn't do as well as I thought, and it's not really, it's an alright strategy, I guess, but it's just not very good. Definitely a lot weaker then the icicles by maybe like 2.5 times, which is definitely a lot. So 93,000 cash spare, but that's only with 1/3 of the damage coming from the ice shards themselves. Not very good, but you'll see a crazy 100 and I think it's 101,000 cash spare run tomorrow.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!